Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am super excited for today's video because I'm going to be kicking off the spring season with a fun little recipe that is super easy to make. It's really light, healthy, and filled with lots of color and fun veggies. Perfect for spring. In case you are new here, my name is Marissa and I am a pharmacist and health coach, and I make videos all about improving gut health and sharing recipes and different wellness tips. So if you are interested in that, definitely come and join the fun here on my channel where I share about all that stuff. And let's go ahead and get cooking with this fun, light, and healthy spring pasta recipe. So first off is obviously the veggies, and that is going to be a red onion and 2 cloves of garlic. We're gonna need a green zucchini and a yellow squash. You're going to need some asparagus. It may not be the whole thing. Let's just see how it looks while we're making it. I'm going to be using some of this baby spinach that I just bought at my local Kroger. You're also gonna need some Italian flat leaf parsley. And then the pasta that I'm going to use for today's recipe is actually a new one for me. I have never really been a huge fan of the gluten-free pastas. I just personally think that the other more traditional one tastes better. However, they do have more processed flours and gluten and all that. So if you are trying to stay away from it, I've heard brown rice pasta is really good, and someone recommended this brand to me, and I am going to go ahead and test it out today for this recipe. And the last ingredient that you're gonna need in this recipe is some sort of a broth. So you can use veggie broth if you wanna make this completely plant-based, or what I'm gonna be using today is this chicken bone broth, which if you can't find it, just use like regular chicken broth or stock or something like that, or if you have it like leftover that you made, just use that. But I was like super excited when I found this in the grocery store, because I don't know if they've had this out for a while, but like this is my first time seeing like bone broth like this. And I'm really excited to give it a try. So we're gonna use a little bit of this. I absolutely love bone broth. It's really great for gut health. I have a whole blog post on it if you are curious to read why. And then also if you wanna know how to make it too, I have a whole recipe video here on my channel that I will link up here or there, wherever it goes. And I will link that for you if you wanna watch that. But anyways, today we're just gonna take a little bit of a shortcut and use this. And that's it. So it's gonna be really easy. I already have my water boiling right there, and I will flip the camera around so you can see what I'm gonna do. Okay, so the first thing is we are going to wash and prep all of our produce. So I'm going to start with the green zucchini. Then we have the yellow squash. And then the asparagus. So what I ended up doing was using half of the asparagus because we have so many veggies in this dish that using half of it is plenty. So then after that, I just rinsed off the Italian flat leaf parsley, put that off to the side. And then I have the spinach, which I think was like triple washed, but I always wash my lettuce a couple times anyways. So just gave that a good little rinse, and then I'll set that off to the side and we'll use that later on. Next, we are going to just start chopping all of our produce. So as you can see, I'm starting with the red onion, and I just wanted to thinly slice it for this recipe. I did not want to like roughly chop it or anything, just thinly slice is perfectly fine. Next is the garlic, so I'm going to mince that. Now, I always have issues getting it out of the peel unless I do what I just did right there, and it always helps me take the garlic out of the peel so much easier than if I don't. So anyways, just be really careful if you decide to do that as well. So you can go ahead and mince that, and then after the garlic, we'll push that off to the side, and then we'll start on the squash. Since I am using like a rotini kind of a pasta for this recipe, I kind of wanted the vegetables and the pasta to be similar in size. So I decided to cut the squash in like 1-inch bite-sized pieces. So as you can see, that is what I'm doing there with the yellow squash and then the green zucchini. Now onto the asparagus. So what I typically do is just kind of take them all together and take the stems off the bottom because we're not going to need them. And then I took like 3 or 4 asparagus at a time, and I wanted to kind of give them a little chop, and I did it on an angle because I thought it would look pretty. And I cut it about 3 or 4 times just to kind of, again, make them more bite-sized pieces like the other vegetables that are present in this recipe. So now we're going on to the parsley. So just chop off the stems at the bottom and give it a rough chop. It does not have have to be perfect. We are going to go ahead and add this at the very end of the recipe and use it as a garnish as well. Now that all of the chopping is done, we are going to move over to the stove now, and I have a little bit of salt that I'm going to put into a medium to large size pot filled with water. Let that come to a boil, and then we're gonna add in our pasta. Because every pasta is different, especially if you're using a gluten-free one like mine, you might want to time it on your stove or on a timer just to help you kind of gauge when it will be done. But every pasta is different, so look at the package instructions just to make sure for yours. The next thing is we're going to put a little bit of oil. Mine is avocado oil in a pan, and we're gonna start sauteing all of our veggies. So as you can see, I have the onion and garlic, and I am just seasoning it with a little salt and pepper. And then just FYI, whenever you are cooking pasta gluten-free or not, make sure that you are stirring it occasionally just to make sure that nothing is going to stick to the bottom of the pot, which would be really difficult to deal with later on. So this right here is totally optional, but I was looking in my refrigerator while I was cooking this and I saw some mushrooms and I thought it would be really a great addition to add into this dish. So I just chopped up a few, I think it was like 3 or 4 mushrooms, and I put them in with the onion and the garlic just to quickly saute, gave them a quick toss, and we're just gonna let them cook for a few minutes. Next, we're gonna add in the green zucchini, the yellow squash, and the asparagus. Give that another quick toss and let that saute as well. At this point, I seasoned mine with a little bit of black pepper, and then I decided to check my pasta, and it turns out that it was ready to go. I shut the flame and then brought it over to the sink to drain it. Now, typically, if I am making just regular pasta, like whole wheat pasta or regular pasta, I do not typically rinse it after I drain it. But I have heard with gluten-free pasta, like brown rice pasta, that you do want to run it under cold water as soon as you are done cooking it to help stop the cooking process. So anyways, I did that, and then I transferred it back into the pot, and we are going to add it to the pan full of veggies at this point. Okay, so the pasta is now done. As you could see in the video, I was trying it a couple times just because I'm not used to cooking with gluten-free pasta, and the timing was a little finicky, but I think it tastes pretty good. I'll do like a little taste test for y'all. I have to say, of all the gluten-free pastas I've tried, and like the, you know, like the lentil ones, the bean ones, like other brown rice ones or quinoa pasta, I have to say I kind of like this one. It's not bad. It actually is one of the ones that tastes the most similar to real pasta. So if you guys want to give them a try, it's not sponsored or anything, but this was it. So anyways, now once the veggies are done cooking, which they smell amazing, by the way. Once they are done cooking, I'm going to splash about like, I don't know, half a cup of this in there. But yeah, once this is kind of just a little bit brown, sauteed, whatever, we're gonna go ahead and put those in, let that simmer and reduce a little bit, add that to the pasta, and then we're done. So really easy. It has not taken me very long to cook this. So you can definitely make this for like a weeknight meal or just like an easy Sunday kind of cooking day or whatever. And it's really healthy for you. So what I like is for the veggies to kind of stay crunchy. I don't want them to be mushy at all. So I think, I just tasted it and they taste really good. So I think I'm gonna stop it at this point, and then we're gonna add in the broth. So now that we've added the broth, we're gonna let this cook for maybe like 3 to 5 minutes, let it come to a simmer, and we are just going to give it a quick toss. And then once we are good with that, then we are going to go ahead and add on the pasta and the rest of the veggies, which is the spinach and then the parsley. I do recommend maybe cooking this in a slightly deeper pan or a pot than I did, because I was a little nervous that I was going to just like have everything spill over it as I was trying to toss it all together at the very end here. But otherwise, just carefully toss it, and I just use some tongs for that. And once the spinach starts wilting down, then you can go ahead and top it with about half or so of the parsley that we already cut up earlier in this video. And you can toss that all together, and you can let it sit for maybe like a minute or two and just let all the flavors and veggies combine. And then an optional step is just to put some freshly grated Parmesan cheese right on top. I just like the flavor that it gives, but obviously if you don't eat dairy, then you do not have to include this in your recipe. Give that a quick toss if you do. Serve and enjoy. This dish is really good on its own, or you can even have it as a side dish and have it with like chicken or roasted chickpeas or shrimp or salmon or something like that. This makes a great weeknight meal or even a leftover lunch, so enjoy. Alrighty, you guys, so that is everything I have for today's video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Let me know if you recreate it, what you think, down in the comments below. Also, in the description box, I will have the full recipe linked there, so you can go ahead and print it out if you would like. But other than that, don't forget to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! So good.